Hi there, everyone. Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com, and welcome to this week's Connection with Intention. First of all, thank you so much for joining me, for your patience. I was shocked when I came back into my Restream account, which is how I stream simultaneously to YouTube and Facebook, to find that the last time that we connected in this way was in November of 2025. And now we're almost in May of 2026. And honestly, not only do I not know where 2025 went, but I'm shocked to be sitting here almost in May of 2026. So welcome. 2026 has been a ride. There's been a lot of ups and downs and changes, and energy's been all over the place. Politics are wild. Life is feeling really wild. And yet, within that, part of what I'm seeing for myself and part of what I'm seeing for clients and just loved ones around me is there's a huge amount of creativity that's really coming to the forefront. And what I know for at least a couple of people, myself included, is that this creativity has come on like a force, and projects that have been sitting in the back of the mind for months or even longer are coming to the forefront, and they're ready to be birthed. They're ready to be brought to life, which is so incredibly exciting. I feel like there's so much that we have to talk about this evening because, again, it's been so long, and it's just popped into my head that the next time we connect for Connection with Intention, I'm going to come with 5 points, with 5 things that I've noticed over the last little while. One of the themes that comes up for me all the time and came up for me in a conversation with a client last night, and that is to show up as you are. Sometimes things aren't perfect, and we get caught up in everything needing to be just so, or needing to have all of the things in order to be the person, or to show up, or to feel that we are of value, or that we are valid. And my thing for so long has been, you know what, come as you are, even if you are messy, or even if things aren't quite right. I'm going to let you in on a little secret because I've done it twice today. Um, I have shown up for Zoom meetings, one with a doctor that I've only just met for the first time, wearing my shirt inside out. And then, literally 2 minutes before we went live today, I looked down and I'm like, oh no, this one's inside out too. So, fortunately for all of you watching this evening, 1, I have a shirt on, and 2, it's now the right way out. So, come as you are, because life is messy, regardless of how you show up. It's more important that you show up when you can than that you do so perfectly, because perfection is one of those things that can stop us from living and experiencing and being in life. So, all other things equal, show up, even if it's kind of messy. I'm going to go to, there we go. There are the chats. There we are. So I've got my little ticker down here. Please save your questions. Hellos are welcome. I've got a couple things we're going to talk about. We're going to say hello to all the people who are commenting here. Remember, we're live on both YouTube and Facebook. I have a little bit of a surprise that I'm super excited and yet a little bit nervous about sharing with you. And then we'll move into the Choose Your Adventure Crystal reading, and we'll move into our mini psychic readings. So that's kind of the flow for the evening. Andrea, hello. And Andrea says, hi. Hi, it's great to see you. And Margaret, hello. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. And we have a pink hand waving from Jazzy Bella. I I love that. I'm assuming that those are emojis, but that's how they're coming up in my chat here. And Cassandra, hi. Cassandra says, hope all has been well with you. Thank you so much. You know what? This year has been wild, but we're good because we're here, and I'm excited to be here with you guys today. Hi from Christine, welcome. And Susan, hello. It's great to see you too. Thanks for hopping on this evening. Mary Catherine, hello. It's good to see you too. Kisses right back to you. Lisa, hi from a How's It. Hi, Lisa. I'm so glad that you're here this evening. Thanks for joining us. And Claudia, hello. Hearts right back to you. Melissa, it's so good to see you. That's exactly what you said too. I'm glad you're here. And hi, Avril. It's so good to see you too. Welcome. Linda, it's so good to see you as well. I'm so grateful you're here this evening. And hello to Michelle and Pat. You can absolutely ask a question, but wait until I ask for the question. So just hold on to it, please. Oh, and Pat saying that clothes inside out is the sign of an artist and creative person. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. And I'll tell you more about it in a little bit. Thank you. Oh, Maxine, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much. That's such a lovely compliment. Kisses right back to you. Jessica, hello. Welcome, my friend. Kate, hello. Thanks for joining us. It's great to see you. And you must be on Facebook because it tagged my page. I thought, oh, that's a lot to type out. Welcome, Kate. Thanks for popping on. Chrissy, hello. It's so good to see you. And hearts back to you, Claudia. Pat, I'm going to come back to you. So hold on to your question and please post it again once I ask. If you can copy and just paste it into the next comment so you don't have to type it out again. I see you've got an extensive question. Stacy, hello. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. No worries, Pat. Hello, Summer. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. You're new. I'm glad you're here. And Kate says, yep, she's on the Facebook. Wonderful. Okay, so now that we've welcomed everybody, I'm going to, as I said, I'm a little bit nervous about sharing this because it is a creative project and it's outside of my realm of comfort in a lot of ways. This project, as I mentioned, was something that started 2 months ago, and yet it actually started more than 20 years ago because there have been so many iterations of this that I'd get little bits and pieces done here, and then something would come up, and other little bits and pieces would be problematic and challenging. And honestly, the art is what has always stopped me in my tracks. So Pat's comment earlier about my clothing was really a lovely confirmation because this one is just the beginning. And I know that there are lots more to come. And that's the piece and the component that's going to shift things for me. So without further ado, I do a drum roll, but I think the mic wouldn't pick it up well. Ta-da! No, it's not just an empty white box. It's more about the things that go in the white box. And so we have here my first card deck printed and published and in my hot, sweaty little hands. So this is called the Journey of Intuition deck, and it's quite different from your typical Oracle card deck. In fact, I wasn't even entirely sure that it would be appropriate for readings until I brought it out at dinner while I was out with a friend, and I said, hey, can I show you this thing that I've been working on? And while we were sitting at the dinner table, we started doing readings for each other with this deck. So I'm like, okay, we're going to go live on Tuesday and we're going to give it a try. So just in case you haven't been here before or you're not familiar with Oracle card decks, often, and this is the type that I generally gravitate towards, you'll have a card that has an image on it. It has a title of some sort, and then it's got a couple of sentences to give some more idea into the meaning. But for myself, I'm a primarily intuitive reader. So as much as these are the cards that I use when I do card readings, typically I use just intuitive messages that pop in. And that's also how I teach as well. And so when I have my students coming to my classes, I'm like, okay, cover up the messages, cover up the writing, and just what do you see in the card, in the image? And the reason for that is I believe that that helps you to learn to read from an intuitive perspective. I did a class. I took a class many years ago. And one of the things that he said stuck out to me. And this was something that one of his teachers had said to him. And the message was that a reader can read anything, a reader can read a banana peel. Because what you get are the little bits and pieces, and it's not as much the card. That's the key to accessing everything else. And so this card deck isn't a traditional card deck. I'll just pick a card to show you guys. The deck is focused on the image. And as you can see, there's no writing. It doesn't have a name. This card doesn't have a name on it. It's all images. And so the purpose and the way that this card deck is used is you are guided and prompted to choose the card and notice what pops out at you. So for example, as I hold up this card here, there are a couple of things that really jump out at me. The green, but also I love all of the floaties with the dandelion seeds being passed on. And so whatever it is that draws you is the key to opening up the intuitive message. And this card is, or this deck rather, is designed to help and support you in finding the key to open up your intuition. So that's what we're going to be using this evening when we come to the card reading portion of the night. I'm just going to pop on. Oh my gosh. Yay from from Claudia. And oh my God, I need that. Awesome from Maxine and Yaz from Drew. And congratulations and Teresa and Claudia and Christine, Mary Catherine. Thank you. Maxine says, I knew you would do this. Thank you. I'm excited. And thank you so much. Inspired to Create. I think that's Margaret. I've already forgotten. Thank you, Kate and Pamela. I'm so glad that you're on this evening. Thanks for joining us. And thank you to Melissa and Yvonne. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks, Drew. I love it. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Maria. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So a couple of people have said, like, I need that deck. So the challenging part is that the printing of them is prohibitive to selling them at this point. So my plan is I have an intuitive development weekend course that's coming up in May. We're going to be using them later in the month. So I think that's the 23rd and the 24th of May. If you're like, oh yeah, I'm totally in, hop over to my website. I'll post the link and the information later. And then I've also brought back Psychic Playgroup. So the Psychic Playgroup following that will be the June 17th one. We'll also start using the cards then. And either in the fall of this year or the beginning of next year, I'm going to create a several month weekly course and program where we use the cards and also build and develop intuition and building into not only building intuition, but if people are interested in the course framework, then we'll also look at how do we get you set up, starting to do readings for other people, how to start charging for them as well. So lots that's coming. And at this point, they aren't available for sale because I'd have to charge about $80 for them, which is just silly. But there are opportunities to access them, and it will come with training so that you aren't on your own with a lot of pretty pictures that you're like, I don't know what to do with this. So that's the plan. That's the announcement. And yeah, thank you. Jenna's saying she's a bit late. These are the cards. I've created these cards. And so Jessica's asked, how did you choose what images to include? You know what? Again, like it was just a rush of, I'm ready to do this. This is going to happen. And it was something I did in the course of about 2 hours. I mean, there was a lot of editing that happened after that, after the choosing. But it was very It was guided. So it wasn't me choosing. They were being chosen for me. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Chrissy. I appreciate that. And Tracy, thank you so much for that support. So now that I've introduced you guys to the cards, I want to make sure that we carry forward with our evening and give everybody as much opportunity as possible to receive a reading. So without further ado, let's move over to the Choose Your Adventure crystal reading. So if you haven't been here before, this is an opportunity for everybody to receive a reading. And the way that it works is I'm going to ask you to slow down, to take a moment, to take a breath, and think of a question or a couple of different questions if you want. You're able to do this as many times as you would like. Focus on one question and ask which of the following crystals best represents the answer that you need to hear this evening. So because I'm not sure how these cards are going to work on a global level, we're going to pull actually 2 cards for each of the crystals. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but we're kind of playing with this tonight just to see what happens. So this is the image. So once you have your question, and be clear with your question. Yes and no questions don't tend to work out very well for this. So I typically like to say, what do I need to know about X situation? So what do I need to know about work right now? What do I need to know about finding work? What do I need to know about my finances? What do I need to know about improving my finances? Would be examples of questions. So once you become clear on the question you're going to ask, take a deep breath and ask your intuition, your higher self, God, source, universe, which crystal of these coming ones here will best represent and answer the question that you're asking. So we have obsidian, rose quartz, and clear quartz. So while you're doing that, I'm going to pull a card for each of these 2 cards, actually. So the first card I'm pulling is for obsidian, a card for rose quartz, and a card for clear quartz. Those are the first cards. And then, as I said, we'll do 2. And we'll pull a card for obsidian, for rose quartz, and for clear quartz. All right. Awesome. Fabulous. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this down. We're going to lose this image once I pull it down. So remember what it is. We've got obsidian, rose quartz, clear quartz. So if you chose the obsidian card, this is the card that has come up for you. And so when I look at this card, immediately I'm drawn to the ripples and to the finger that's coming down and the peace and the blossom. And so what's coming up with this card, if you've chosen obsidian, is that what you are doing, what you are putting energy into right now is rippling out into many different ways in this particular area that you've asked about. So there's a lot of influence that you have. If you look at the water all around this, everything is really calm. You are the one who is making the change, who is bringing the ripples forth, and who is creating movement. So ask yourself, what is it that I'm focusing on right now? Because whatever it is that you're focusing on is what's impacting the situation. If it's not impacting it the way that you want, how can you change either the way that you approach it, or how can you focus on your thoughts and your belief system? Is that having an impact on what you're experiencing right now? The clarifying card that we have is the Beloved One card. This is Archangel Chamuel. I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. This is such an interesting card because when it comes to soulmate relationship, it can refer to partnership and romantic relationship. It can refer to a relationship with another person who has come into your life and who is meant to be in your life. But it can also have to do with the connection that we have to ourselves, to our higher self, to our soul, to God, source, universe. So that's also a soulmate relationship and partnership that we have too. And if I put the 2 of those together, this definitely feels like this is something that you are focused on. So I would lean more towards the connection that you have with self, with higher self, with soul, with God's source universe. So not only are you the one who is primarily impacting things, but a reminder that you're not alone in what you're doing. Sometimes, especially if things aren't feeling in control, we feel like it's just us and everything is on us. And the way that I see the two of these cards working together is that no, you aren't on your own. You aren't alone. There is help and support. And connecting with your own intuition is part of how you can move through this. Okay, if you chose rose quartz was the crystal in the middle. The card that we have here for you is one of comfort. And, it's really interesting to me because rose quartz is focused on heart, on love, on healing. There's so much love that is there. And when I think of like a burning fire like this, I think of the heart of the home, keeping everybody warm, keeping things toasty. So for me, I'm going into the heart. What is your heart calling for? What is most important to you in a sense of love, in this situation, in these circumstances? And there's also a bit of passion that comes up when it comes to fire as well. So what are you passionate about in this situation? That's where the energy is coming from. That's where the love is coming from. And that's what's going to sustain not only you, but the entire household. It says that the situation you're asking about is really intricate. It's not just this part, but it has an impact on the entire functioning of many areas of your life. So focusing on what you love, what is passionate, the aspect of it that is passionate for you allows you to sustain, to support, to nurture and nourish the rest, the whole of you. So our next card that we have, our clarifying card, this is the clairvoyance card. This is Archangel Raziel, and he says, I am helping your spiritual sight to awaken fully so you can clearly see heavenly love. So this is, again, like looking beyond what is readily present. It can also be an encouragement to make sure that you're taking time to connect with your own intuition, particularly from a visual point of view. So clairvoyance literally means clear sight, and it is images that are coming to you through a visual perspective. So whether it's seeing something in your mind's eye, seeing repeating numbers or sequences, seeing things out of the corner of your eye. So there are lots of different ways that clairvoyance can manifest. So it's saying, not only to connect with the passion and the love, but also to pay attention to the things that you're seeing, because you are in touch and in tune with what you're seeing in the circumstance. Moving forward to clear quartz. That's part of the trickiest part of this is I never remember what the crystals are. Oh, this image has always been powerful for me. I used this image many years ago for the mail outs, and it always spoke to me of being well on your path and your journey, being able to look back, to see how far you've come, while also at the same time looking forward to where you're going. So for me, this is an encouragement to rest, to review, to take a look at, again, like where you've been, what has led you to this point, but also what are you focusing on moving forward? This is a card of priorities. What is most important for you as you move forward? Recognizing that rest is really important, because look at how far you've come. You're already up on this plateau. Look at that valley way down there. You've already done so much work. So honor and recognize everything that you've already done, that you've already accomplished. Allow yourself to breathe that in, and to celebrate what you've done before you start looking towards, okay, what's next? What else do I need to do? Where else does my focus need to be? There is time for that, and that is an important part of the step. But make sure that you're doing this review component too, because otherwise, you're achieving and accomplishing the things, the goals that you've set for yourself, but you're not taking time to recognize that. And one of the most difficult things in a long journey and in a long process is not actively recognizing how far you've come. So take that time before you start looking forward to the things that still need to be done and where you want to be. I love this companion card that we have. This is the You Know What to Do card. This is Archangel Uriel, and his message is trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. It's really interesting because I love that he's holding the lantern. So like your pathway forward is lit for you. It's already being illuminated, and you know what it is that you need to do. And if I look at this with the two of them in conjunction, you know exactly what the path is moving forward because you're literally walking on the path. This is a moment of rest and reflection, and getting into that. Lovely. So we've come to the end of the connection with intention. I am going to put this up. Oh no. We lost it. Doesn't even matter. Now you are welcome to ask your questions in the comments. So I will ask you to ask I don't even remember what I used to call it. A straightforward question. Guys, I don't even remember what it is. Don't just put romance. Make sure that you ask a question with a little bit of detail so that I can give you the most that I can. And please ask the question that you most want answered. Everyone only gets one single question. And I will skip over people who are asking multiple questions. So please ask the question you most want to see and in a single comment because I won't see all of them. Okay. Oh, wow. You guys are ready. Holy smokes. Okay. Hi, JC. I'm glad that you found us. Okay. So Drew says, I'm at the threshold of being done hiding and standing fully inside my work. Yes. What does my future self want to help me see that I might not be able to see this moment about my life's journey? Okay. We're starting big with you, Drew. Let's take a look and see what we have coming up for you. Yeah, you are ready. You're ready to be in the light. It's really interesting because I see you. The visual that I'm being given is that you're getting onto a stage and everything is dark except for the spotlight. And you've been kind of moving towards it. Like right now, you've got a foot in, and it reminds me a little bit of the hokey pokey. You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out. So you're taking your time. So even though the spotlight is there and you're ready, you're still edging away from it. It's interesting because the more light that is on the stage, the easier it is for you to be there because there aren't as many shadows. And so this feels like this is continuing to address shadows so shadow work that is kind of keeping you out of being able to move in and move confidently. There's a sense of getting in and then wanting to pull out and getting in and just wanting to pull out and to back away. You're there, you're ready, but it feels like part of it is that you're needing to find smaller steps into the limelight. So rather than jumping in full on, they're showing me that you're finding ways to ease your way in, to edge your way in, and that's part of what allows you to acclimate to this new level of exposure. It doesn't have to be, I'm not in the limelight and now suddenly I am. In fact, it feels like that's less sustainable than allowing yourself to move into it more slowly. So let's take a look. What else does your future self want you to help see? Baby steps, little bites. They're showing me, little bites, just little steps. It doesn't have to be big. Don't worry about big. You're getting there. You are there. But the big is part of what is keeping you pulling back and pulling away. So don't make it big. Just make it comfortable, and then just keep doing comfortable over and over, because what's comfortable today is not what was comfortable 2 weeks ago, and what's comfortable a month from now is terrifying today. So the smaller the steps, the easier it is, and then the bigger the steps you'll take moving forward. This is a really interesting card to have come up for you. I love the heart. And for me, the heart is actually holding those two levels of chains. So, like, as you open that, everything opens. If we were to unlock this and to take this off, so again, like unlocking the heart, what is best and right for you, it opens the entire chain. So, all of these little locks here, they go, they disappear. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. The only lock in all four or five or whatever are on this image, the only one that's doing anything is the heart. That is what you need to unlock, to break open, to break the chains free. So you're on the right track. You're on the right path. Just keep moving forward. Awesome. I'm so glad that you joined us today, Drew. Thanks for hopping on. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Okay, Margaret, hello. Do you see a new job opportunity that is aligned for me in the next 2 months? Thank you for giving me a time frame. I've planted some seeds through networking contacts, and I'm wondering if it will pay off. Yes, yes, it will. I have something that feels like it's coming up in the next 3 weeks. So let's call us the beginning of May. So that's taking us kind of around the 20th ish of May. It feels like there is something that's starting to open. It's starting to come together. I don't think that this is the thing, but I see that it leads you to the thing. So I don't know that this is specifically a job offer, but it feels like it's somebody who says, "Oh, Margaret, I know somebody who's looking for whatever it is that you're doing, or I think you'd be a really good fit for." So it feels like that's the seed, that's the connection where things start to move forward and they start to come together. I know Margaret quite well, and I happen to know that her birthday is in June because it just so happens that it's the same day as my parents. So that's why I'm mentioning this. I suspect that that's going to be part of an early birthday present. So I'm going to set that intention for you, is that there's a beautiful surprise that's coming your way, that is work that is aligned for you. So I'm asking for a little bit of information around this. I'm not sure why it is. Oh, we've got your cards. They've just fallen out. I'm not sure why it is that I often see little bits and pieces of work that's coming up for you. So it's something where it's like, this is something that's part-time, and in addition to this, it makes it full-time. I'm not sure if it's from a variety point of view, or if you're being eased back into work situation, or if it's allowing you to fine tune and to hone. But the other thing that I'm seeing is it's like going across the monkey bars. So it's definitely not the job and career, but it's helping to get you there. So if you remember playing on a playground, with being on one platform and wanting to get over to the other platform, you have to go through several rungs in order to be able to get there. So this connection that feels like it's coming up in that kind of third week in May, that's one of the rungs, and the job that comes from it is one of the rungs. And then there's something else, and then it feels like we're then in that flow. So each of those rungs is an important step. Sure, you can definitely reach past one, but you can't reach past all of them. And there's something that's significant and important in coming back into that. So pay attention. But yeah, there is work that's coming up for you. Oh, okay. These are two really interesting cards. So the first one is this one, and we pulled it a little bit earlier. So for me, green is all about like the heart chakra and what it is that you love. And dandelions always represent wishes for me. And so you've already got some wishes that are being blown out into the universe, but you still have all of this energy here that's just waiting for you to take a breath, to release, to let it go. So over the next little while, we have a full moon that's coming up in the next couple of days. Do some releasing. And with the new moon, make sure that you're setting your intentions about what it is that you're wanting to create. But don't be specific about it. So one of the things that I notice when people are manifesting is they'll say, I want this specific person, and I want him or them to love me in this way, and that's all that I want. When universe is saying, tell me more about the person you want in your life rather than giving me a specific person. Well, I want somebody who cares about me, that I care about back, that I can do fun things with, where there's respect and blah 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 blah. Because it could be that the person that you're saying, this is who I want and what I want, is none of the things that you're actually wanting to manifest. So when it comes to manifestation, particularly around the new moon, make sure that the seeds that you're sowing are about how you want to feel in your job, the types of things that you want to be doing, how you want to be treated in your new work environment, how well you get along with your boss. Whatever the things are that are important to you and significant for you, make sure you focus on those rather than the specific, I want a job at such a company making such and such an hour, and focus on what you're wanting to experience. This is a really interesting card to come on the heels of it. For me, this is a card of a lot of movement and a lot of motion, and things are happening. So behind the scenes, even though things are feeling kind of a little bit tranquil, universe is saying, hey, we're pulling stuff together. We're bringing it in, pulling it in, and things are coming quickly. So over the next several weeks, make sure that you're taking time to ground yourself, to balance yourself, so that you are ready for this next step in this next stage, because it's exciting. It is exciting what is coming and what is happening for you. So, Margaret, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of manifestation energy. And one last thing that I'm hearing before we go is to make sure that you slow down and breathe. This isn't about reaching for something. This is about sitting back and expecting that it is coming and that it is happening. So I'll use the waiter reference. If you go to a restaurant and you order something and you're sitting there like this, and when is it coming? When is it going to be there? It's not going to come any faster than if once you give your order, you sit back, you enjoy your water, you enjoy the company of the people that you're with, you look around and you people watch. It's also far more comfortable, and you're more likely to appreciate it when it arrives. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Margaret. Avril, welcome. So Avril is asking, do you see my husband and I buying a house anytime soon? Okay, so when I say anytime soon, I'm going to give us 6 months. Just to be on the safe side. So again, we're saying we're in May right now. So that's taking us between May and November. What is coming up for Avril and her husband with buying a home? Yeah, I do have something that's coming up that feels really solid, that's coming through in August. So part of what I'm seeing is it feels like money and finances are together. Like it feels like you guys are actively looking and you're ready to purchase a home. And it's just a matter of finding the right place that has the things that you need at the right price. And I'm seeing things coming together as we move into the summer. And as I said, it feels like things are coming together in August. So I'm just asking, is August when you're finding the home, or is that when you're settling on it? Oh, things are moving quickly. So it feels like you're both finding the home and settling on it in August. And then the move is happening in the next month or two after, depending on how you are negotiating the terms. So there is something that's coming up for you, and relatively quickly. What I'm seeing, it to me, it almost looks a little bit like a cabin. I don't know that that's quite the way to describe it. But part of the reason I want to call it a cabin is it feels like it's got beautiful trees around it. It has a really lovely lawn with a home, and then a kind of a treed area. And as I said, it feels really beautiful. It feels like it's, on the one hand, a little bit secluded, but on the other hand, like you can drive up the street and it feels like a main roadway is there. So you're just off the beaten path, but not so far off that you're out in the middle of nowhere. It feels like there's property that's around you, but you're still close enough to be able to access things, life, things that are important to you. Okay, so we're just going to ask, what does Avril need to know about she and her husband purchasing a home? Oh, this is lovely. This was actually a picture that I took at Philberg, actually. So this is you're on the way up. There is a lot of help and support that is available for you. And to me, like we're moving into a clearing, everything is really clear. So right now, things feel like they're kind of tied in. They're beautiful, but you're kind of tied in. And then as we come to the top of the stairs, we're moving into opportunity and possibility and things happening. And there aren't that many stairs that we're looking at. We've maybe got half a dozen stairs that we're walking up. So you're closer than you perhaps realize that you are, and that things are coming together. There are a couple of, I don't even want to call them hurdles because they're not that difficult. The stairs weren't overly steep. They weren't tragic. They weren't challenging. It was just, no, we need to do this and this and this and this. And then boom, we're there. And so it feels like you're already doing those things. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep looking, keep in touch with Realtor if you're working with somebody. But you guys are well on the path and things are coming together quickly. Avril, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs and lots of manifestation energy to you and your husband. Susan, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Susan says, I've been feeling strong and transformative shifts lately. Yes. And I'm wondering if I'm on the right track to allow a healthy and loving relationship in my life. You know what? I just have to take a moment, Susan, and really appreciate the way that you've asked that question. Just even the way that you've asked it says to me that you are already on the right track because you're thinking about the things and being thoughtful in that. So part of what I'm hearing is that you're doing a really awesome and amazing job, but they're showing me that there's still an elephant in the room. So it feels like you've tackled this thing and that thing and that thing and that thing, but there's still one thing that you haven't really started tackling yet. And it feels like it's kind of big and it feels like it's overwhelming. And part of me is almost wanting to ask if this is something even that you're needing to tackle. It's a really unusual elephant, my friend. Let's ask a little bit more about what's going on with this elephant and why it's there. Because what I'm seeing is that it's something that you've been brushing off and that you've like intentionally been ignoring. And so in some ways, the elephant almost feels like it's becoming part of the furniture. And yet at the same time, it's telling me that, hey, like you still need to address me. So what I'm going to say is that it's an elephant in the room that we've made look really pretty. So it looks like it blends in, so we can kind of ignore it. But it's saying that it needs to be addressed. This feels like this has to do with belief system, around what you believe is possible, around who you believe is possible, around the life that you're able to live either on your own and or with this person. So it feels like we're getting into some big stuff. So examples might be, it really grosses me out when my partner is a smoker. But if the only person I could find is somebody that smokes, I could figure out how to live with that. That's a really poor example, but that was what was popping up into my head. Is it's something that we know is there, that we know is troublesome, but we're going to find a way to make it work. So take a look and see if there are any things like that, because part of what I'm seeing is that we're kind of leveling up here when it comes to relationship and partnership. Yeah. So let me go back to your question. Are you on the right track for allowing a healthy and loving relationship in your life? Absolutely. As I said, you've done a huge amount of work and I can see that and I can feel that. There's just this thing and it feels like it's going back to beliefs and to mindset, either around who your partner is, who they could be, and what is of value to you. So those are the kinds of things that I'd want to take a look at and explore and see what comes up with those for you. Let's pull a card around that and see what we've got coming up. I just heard that we're pulling 2 cards for you. Oh, sorry, I heard that we're pulling 3 cards for you. All right, we're going to see how this all works out. Okay, so joy is the first message and the first card that comes up here. And this honestly is a card and an image that just brings me so much happiness. It's light. There isn't worry, even though it's raining, which can be a challenging experience. We're enjoying the experience that we're in. And it feels like that's part of the message that's coming up for you. The more that you're enjoying where you are, the experience that you're in, the easier it is to move forward into the next phase. So like when it's raining, grab your slicker and enjoy where you are. Part of what that's telling me is also, and somebody who spent a lot of her adulthood single, this message always frustrates me. So I apologize on somebody's behalf for giving this to you, Susan. The more that you enjoy this moment and being single and all of the things that you're able to do, the easier it is for this joy to come in. The other thing that has struck me about this card is the yellow. Like when I look at it, that's immediately what I'm drawn to. And that's part of where joy comes in, as well as the little girl's experience. But also there's a lot of yellow that's coming up in the sun, and recognizing and remembering how much of you is part of that universal connection. The yellowness being mirrored in the protection and in the joy here. So the more deeply you're able to delve into that experience, the easier it is to connect on the level that you're looking to connect on. I love this card as a confirmation for you, because this feels like this is part of the partnership, the relationship that's coming in. We have core and root beliefs. We're able to connect and to communicate back and forth with each other in a language that we both understand. We even have roots that we're sharing here, and there's a lot of growth that's coming up here. One of the things that I really see, the people that I work with, that they're really wanting is, I want somebody who understands me at my core, who I am, who sees me. And this feels like this is confirmation of the type of relationship that you're wanting to create and manifest. And it's here, it's coming. And the next card, this is so interesting. There's beautiful stillness here. And yet with the butterfly, there's incredible transformation. And it's funny because I was thinking today, man, I'm surprised that I didn't have any butterflies in this deck, because transformation is such a big part. And then, Susan, you brought it out tonight. So thank you. So transformation is in your hands. It is happening. It's moving forward. It's carrying forward. And also I notice, if I look at the 2 cards, the yellow that is there. So like the transformation is in your hands. God, source, universe is here, and it's happening. So transformation is all through you, and it's happening really quickly, which I suspect you already know. So yes, to answer your question, you're absolutely on the right path and on the right track. Keep doing what you're doing. Take a look and question the things that you've maybe have decided are okay to continue to hang out, and make sure that that's aligned with the person that you are now and the person that you're becoming, because it feels like that's old stuff that's ready to go. Awesome. I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening, Susan. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and also lots of romance angels too. Let's help to usher that partner in. Stephen, hello, my friend. I'm glad that you're on this evening. Excuse me. Stephen says, my goals haven't gotten bigger, but they feel more achievable. Yes. Amazing. They feel more achievable than ever. I wonder if anything is blocking me that I need to investigate. Also, I chose crystal quartz, so I may not need an answer. Okay, well, let's see if there's anything that's popping up for you, Stephen. Part of what I'm seeing is that it feels like you're recognizing when blocks are coming up, you're acknowledging, you're working through them, and you're moving on. So the way that I see it happening is it feels like we're breathing it in, we're acknowledging, and we're breathing it out. So I'm wanting to ask if you've incorporated some breath and breathing practices, because that feels like that's a significant part around how you're moving forward, not necessarily the blocks themselves. Because what I'm seeing is, as I said, that you're becoming really aware of where things are blocked and you're moving through it. So where perhaps in the past, hitting a block then caused a bit of a spiral that maybe took you back. It's kind of like, no, we hit a block, we breathe through it, and we move through it. We move over it. We surmount it because it doesn't need to hold us back anymore. So I see you being very much on the right path and on the right track with what you're doing. I don't even remember which card it was that came up for the clear quartz. I'm hoping that it was the quote unquote obstacle card with the guy looking back on where he's been, because that's what's popping into my head as being the message that you needed. So if that wasn't clear quartz, that's also the message you have. That's so funny. So I'm asking what else it is that you need, and we get the same joy card that's coming up. So another way that we can see this is rain as being challenge and difficulty. And I'm kind of hearing the Lion King coming up. I laugh in the face of danger. And so this is this is almost like I laugh in the face of challenge and block. So find the joy in the experiences that you're having. It doesn't have to all be challenge and difficulty. It can be, hey, like, look at this thing. This is a great learning opportunity. Oh man, that was awesome. So switch even how you're seeing blocks, and don't see them as block and challenge. See them as an opportunity for, okay, well, where can I find joy in this? Flip it around, see what comes up. I'm super excited for you. I love seeing that your goals haven't gotten bigger, but they feel more achievable. That's important. That's huge. I'm super excited for you. Stephen, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and support your way. Claudia, hello. Thanks for joining us. Claudia says, I have had several situations in the past few months where things I thought were going to happen got canceled. Then got canceled again and came back again, only to go away again. Okay. Do you have anything to say about that? Absolutely. Especially, I'm looking for a side job. So this is referring to that specifically. Okay. Yeah, it feels like what was there wasn't actually there. It feels like it was a mirage, and I don't see that there's any manipulation on the people or person on the other side. It feels like genuinely and truly it was something that they were wanting to offer, and then they realized that they couldn't, and then they're so wanting to and can't. With regards to the situations that you've asked about, I'm seeing letting them go, at least for now. It feels like at least one of them can come back around and feels like it's stable, but it feels like they're having a hard time finding their footing to be able to offer this. And I can't tell if it's control or if it's money and financial. I can't tell exactly where it's coming from, but things aren't ready on the other side. And until they truly are, and they're ready in a grounded way, that doesn't feel like that's coming back around. So let's, come into peace with what was trying to come to fruition and hasn't yet. I'm wanting to focus on other options and opportunities that are available. And it's interesting. I'm not sure if this has been your experience or what's kind of coming up, but I'm having a hard time letting go of these things. So I suspect there was a lot of want and desire there. And what feels here, I feel kind of barren. Like it feels like there isn't as much here. The imagery that I'm getting is of like a parched desert floor, and I'm feeling you being like a little flower that's trying desperately to find root, and it's like, How do I find water for my roots in this barren place when I need to dig so far in order to get them? Like, that's what I'm seeing, is that your little roots are trying to find the water in the earth to support you in this place that's feeling really barren. And it's interesting. I know we're talking in a lot of metaphor, so I'm going to try and pull it all together in a moment. But what I am seeing is that the roots are reaching, they are reaching the water, and that you are able to thrive. So even though it feels like there isn't a lot that's available outside of the opportunities that haven't come to fruition, there are things that are coming up. So what I find interesting is, in this analogy, you as the little flower, as the root, we're doing a lot of the digging in order to get down into the place where things were working. I am seeing something with somebody, and it feels like this is something that this person that you know well, that they could really use some help. For some reason, they haven't considered you for it, even though it feels like it would actually work really well for you. Not only does it give you stability and support, it feels like they are hours that would be really easy for you to work into your week and your day and still take care of other things that you have going on. So for example, this feels like this is something in the 10 to 20 hours a week range. It's something that you're doing a couple of hours every day, in the morning or the afternoon, whatever works for your schedule. And I feel this person being equally happy for you to do it in that way as well. Whenever it works for your schedule, it feels like it's something that you can go in and you do your work and you leave. It feels like you may not have necessarily specifically done this in the past, but it would be easy enough for you to train in it. I do see you kind of sitting at a desk, working on a couple of things. Yeah, but this feels like this is a connection that you already have. Is this the thing that is going to bring you the most joy? I don't think so, because it doesn't feel like it. It feels more administrative than anything else. But what it does give you is, it's something that you enjoy enough that you're able to do it, and you're able to do it well. It feels like it's getting you into a really nice routine. I see you having a really good relationship with this person. They're very happy to pass this work off onto you, because it feels like they've maybe gone through a couple of people and things haven't worked out, or that they've been doing it themselves. So I'm going to say that this is somebody who is operating their own business. I feel like this is a service-based business. I'm asking about when it's going to be available, and I'm hearing April, which is right now. So I want to encourage you to make sure that you're talking to the people that you know, and letting people know that, hey, you're looking for something, and it doesn't have to be like the thing. It's just, it's you're ready to do some work to help and support somebody. So I'm going to say that this feels like this comes up sooner rather than later, even though things are looking kind of dry and barren. All of the things that we talked about for Margaret feel like I'm going to share them with you too. So as I said, we're coming up on the the full moon, I think on the 1st, which is Friday. So release anything that's coming up, release all of the previous things that didn't work out, that didn't come to fruition, release any beliefs that you have that, hey, things are really barren, there's not anything there. Let go of anything that feels like it's holding you back. Create the fresh slate, the clean slate, and then dig deeply, root and ground. And I would root and ground into the knowledge that you are supported, and the knowledge that there are options and opportunities that are available to you, even if you don't see them just yet, because they are there. And open the door. So just hold the space for that to come to fruition. Okay, let's just ask what Claudia needs to know about. What do you have? I'm going to say side job. That's what we're focusing on. That's so weird, guys. I swear that I've been shuffling the cards. And this is the third time this one's come up this evening. So again, like, this is for me, really going into your heart. So focusing on that heart, that love connection that you have for yourself, connection you have with God's source, universe, angels, ascended masters, whatever your belief system is, but that place where we're all one, connect with that. And then you're making wishes. So you're putting out, each of these represents like a wish, an energy. something that's ready to come to fruition. And as you blow all of those wishes out there, there are some that are going to be caught and they're coming into fruition. They're coming together. So you are on the right track. Part of it is, again, like that letting go, and the letting go of the disappointment that comes with things not coming together, especially with such a stop start pattern. That energetically is so tiring and draining, and it's challenging to be able to maintain positive expectation too. So allow yourself to grieve what didn't come to fruition, as you allow yourself to release it and let it go, to create room for something new, because it's there, it's ready to happen, and sooner-ish rather than later-ish. Claudia, I'm always so glad that you hop on. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and support your way. Andrea, hello. I've missed you guys too. I'm so glad that you guys are on this evening with me. Thank you. Okay, energy is really awesome. I'm feeling super creative and motivated for all things self-care. Amazing. And with all of these men popping up, including D driving by my house and my work, his energy is pulling. What's the energy for us over the next few weeks? He literally just sent a text as I wrote this. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm wanting to encourage you to continue with the focus, the creativity, the energy that is self-care. One, because that's important to you, for you. And two, it's also part of what is magnetizing romantic opportunity to you. I think that's the best way to put it. With regards to this particular person, I mean, I get such a flip-flop, mostly because it feels like the draw is coming because you are so bright. Like you're drawing him in because you're bright, because your energy is flowing, your creativity is flowing, and things are good. Things don't feel like they are settled or quote unquote fixed in his world. And so part of the draw is that you are so bright and you feel so good. It's kind of like the moth to the flame. He's not ready to match you where you are. So my only concern with this relationship and connection is that he's going to kind of siphon that energy off to pick himself up. It's not going to be intentional because that's not his thing. That's not who he is. It's not what he actually wants. It's an unintentional aspect. So what I would say is, if in this relationship, the situation, you can continue to maintain yourself, your level of self-care and the things that you're doing and that energy and that flow, if you can continue to maintain that, absolutely invite him in, and allow him to bask in your glow and help to build himself up. He's showing me that he's still got hoops that he's jumping through. He's still working on things. He's still running the journey, right? He's still got stuff that's going on. It's not a bad relationship. I'm just curious about the timing, mostly because, as I said, like, you're ready, but I'm not seeing him being ready yet. So be aware of maintaining your own energy in this situation, that you don't give it all away just yet, because he's not in a place yet to reciprocate where you are and what's happening. I feel like I want to pull two cards for you. So the first card is the card that we're going to get to represent this particular relationship. And then we're going to do one to represent the possibility and opportunity for other relationship to come in. Those are the two. So this is your current relationship. And everything is feeling really solitary in this. I mean, it is well lit, but it is also rainy. You're doing your own thing. But I'm feeling you feeling really confident and comfortable in it. If we look a little more deeply, we do have a couple that's here in the distance, but like, you're walking this on your own. It feels pretty good, possibly a little bit sketchy, but not super sketchy, but you are good. What I find really interesting is there aren't many people image cards in this deck. And so for us to have picked one where you are very solitary, it says to me that, hey, things might not be ready just yet to come back around with this relationship. Let's take a look at what we have. So the card that we have for other potential relationships and partnerships, we have a key. So like this is the key moving forward. This is things opening up. We've got a lot of guidance that's coming around this as well. Like, hey, this like, this is the key. So I'm not wanting to commit myself to this path just yet at this point because it feels like there's something else that's coming. Is it another relationship? Maybe, but I'm actually not really sold that it is another relationship that's coming up because there are aspects of this current relationship connection that do feel really good. And again, like timing isn't quite right. So for me, this almost feels like this is you focusing more on you. So yeah, I'm not saying no to this relationship. I'm just saying not quite yet. So continue to interact and connect, but make sure you're maintaining yourself through it. Andrea, it's always such a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so glad that you hopped on this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of romance angels too. Awesome, Pat. I'm so grateful that you came on. Oh, goodness. So Pat says, I'm in hospital with perforated appendix. So adoption of a hospice coonhound is put off till mid-May. Will the transition of Boomer arriving and adjusting some typical asserts? Also, he has Dane, cruel disease as my last hound. Heartbreaking, but I can help him from my experience. Okay, so I just want to clarify. I think what you're saying is that you are in hospital. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sending lots of Reiki and healing your way, and hope that your appendix, that they're able to help and support you in whatever way, whatever that looks like. So the adoption of the coonhound is put off until mid-May. Will the transition? Oh, I see. Will the transition of Boomer? Boomer is the coonhound. Okay, so will that go well? And also, can you help him because he has the same disease that your previous one did? Okay. So yes, if we fast forward a couple of weeks, it does feel like you're in a place where you're able to welcome him into your home. The adjustment does feel like it goes well. I'm feeling him being a little skittish, so a little uncertain in terms of coming into your home, but it feels like that's part of the adjustment process for him, whether you're home or somewhere else. And also, I'm not certain if possibly he's been to a couple of different places, but it does feel like it takes a little bit for him to become comfortable with his new environment. But I do feel an openness that comes up in being in your home with you. I'm feeling some laughter that's coming through, and it feels like that puts him at ease. In terms of you being able to help him, absolutely, it feels like he's ready for love and to be loved and supported. He shows me that he's experienced a lot of love as well. So yeah, I've got lots of really conflicting messages. He shows me that he's experienced love, but then there have been times of loneliness and or uncertainty and or being shuffled to many places. And he's showing me that he's ready for love and ready for rest as well. I do see him being with you for some time. And that he'll have a really solid quality of life while he's with you as well. And I'm feeling a lot of gratitude that's coming up that you're bringing him into your home because he's ready to be in one place for a while longer and for stability. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to ask Pat what you need to know. What do you need to know? So you're still in the hurricane. Things are still feeling intense. But even though there is still a lot that's blowing, eventually everything calms down. and we're able to pick up the pieces and we're able to move forward. So I'm glad that you mentioned mid-May, because right now things are still feeling unpredictable. We know what is going to come, but in this moment, things feel unpredictable. Let's ask for an additional question. I'm going to ask for the loved one that's coming into your life. And I see a lot of stillness and movement here. So I don't know how clearly you can see it, but we have some rocks and we've got water that's flowing through, and we've got really bright and illuminated water as well. And yet it looks like it's still. So like there's a stillness with action and activity that's happening, which is a really big difference from this one, where everything, you can tell that everything is crazy. This one's saying, hey, like we've got stillness and yet things are still moving, and things are still happening. And it does feel like this is what you're going to be coming into. So once your buddy comes and joins you, life will be active, even though he's dealing with this disease that he has. It is still active, and with you, he is exactly where he needs to be, and things are feeling good. So I'm really excited for you. And again, I'm sending huge amounts of healing love and support. I hope that your appendix is dealt with appropriately and you start to feel better really soon. Thank you so much for joining us, Pat. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Linda, hello. It's great to see you. Do you have any insights into the timeline for selling our reconstructed condo and subsequently selling it again? I think what you meant was the timeline for when the condo will be reconstructed and when you'll be able to sell it. I think that's what you meant. So that's what I'm going with. Okay. I'm hearing that it's coming up soon, and yet they're showing me, I'm kind of seeing, I heard April, May, but I'm seeing August, July, August, September. It feels like we still have several months before things are finished. What do we have coming up with that? And it feels like things need to be done at that point. Part of what I'm seeing is that you've got a lot of photography that can be done. And that feels like that's a big part of the selling feature for your condo and the space when it does come time for selling. So even though it feels like it's being finished during a less opportune time for selling, it feels like, based on what you have from a picture point of view, you're really able to paint the lifestyle that can be lived in the space. So I'm wanting to encourage you to get out into the area where your home is, where it's being worked on, and make sure that you're taking pictures of what life is like in the area, because that's what's selling it as much as the home it is itself. And that it makes it easier to list and to sell in a less opportune time. I have a flip-flop because they also just showed me listing in March of next year. And I get a flip-flop mostly because it feels like you're then carrying the space. And I'm not seeing you actively using it during those months because it doesn't feel like you're moving back into the space. It feels like you're happy where you are, and or that you're going to be off sailing again. So it's interesting that March is coming up. I suspect that it's coming up because someone in the know, I'm assuming your real estate agent, says, hey, it's going to be not only easier to sell, but you're going to get a much better price if we hold off and if we wait until March, April to list it. And then it goes like hotcakes. So it doesn't feel like it's really ready. It doesn't feel like it's really ready until later summer, possibly even into the early fall. And you have the choice as to whether or not you want to list it at that point. it feels like we're talking several tens of thousands of dollars difference if you wait until March. So depending on what makes sense for you and your family, if you can hold off, I'd almost encourage you to do so. But definitely make sure that you talk to somebody in the know. So a real estate agent, a trusted real estate agent in the area would definitely be my first phone call, to get some help and support in terms of deciding when to list. And definitely ask about the lifestyle aspect, because that feels like that is a really big selling point for your home, and that's something that can be brought to the forefront even during darker winter months. Okay, Linda, I've got a card for you. I'm hearing that we're pulling two. So the first card that came out, this is so interesting. The same cards keep coming up. Is again like this lock message and imagery, and it does feel like right now everything that's you're in a waiting pattern, and things do feel locked up here. It could be that we're feeling locked up from a financial point of view. It could be that we're feeling a little landlocked as well. But things do start to move forward. And again, like this one piece, as we talked about earlier, as soon as this opens up, everything falls off. So anything that's feeling constricting or constraining does fall off as soon as we get the key in here. So let's take a look at our second our second image. This for me goes back to the landlocked message, because we're literally looking out at the sea with our slicker on, and that's where I want to be. And I happen to know with Linda that she and her husband do a lot of sailing. So yeah, so I mean, things are feeling a little bit turbulent. Possibly we're feeling a little upset with where things are, but I am still seeing a lot of possibility and opportunity. So this isn't going to keep you locked in for long, but it does feel like a little bit longer. So it's not super quick, but it is coming. Linda, I'm always so grateful that you hop on and join us. It's really good to connect with you. Sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And I hope that the reconstruction happens really quickly. Awesome. Let me see. I want to make sure I didn't jump anybody. Gloria, hello. Thanks for joining us. Gloria is asking, do you think this fellow will make any move or reach out? He said he was going to visit, but he's very avoidant and dives deep from being hurt. Or does he need some nudging? What do we have? So when I check in with him, I feel like I'm moving forward, and then I'm quickly pulling back and pulling away, and I feel like I've got kind of my head in my hands, and I'm feeling a lot of pressure that's coming up, and like he's showing me he's kicking himself, and it feels like he's got expectation that's coming from you, and like I feel really overwhelmed with making the step, with making the move. I'm just asking, I want to see if there's anything else that's kind of apparent that's going on for him, because I don't feel like we're getting the whole story with that. There's something more that's going on. When you say an avoidant, that absolutely makes sense to me, especially with the amount of overwhelm that I'm seeing. I'm just checking to make sure that we don't have like another relationship or something else that's kind of keeping him where he is. And he doesn't mean no, he doesn't have the time or the energy for more than one. Like, good grief. That's the last thing that he would want. So we're good there. We're clear there. It's interesting because it feels like it's actually difficult for him to get out of his routine. I feel so much push and pull back and forth on so many different levels. And I want to be really clear. This doesn't have anything to do with you, because he does feel like he's interested in you and he's invested in you. But then he shows me that he plays the what if down game. So the what if down game basically says, what if I do this thing and then this awful thing happens and this next awful thing happens and then this really truly terrible thing happens? That's the what if down game. The what if up game says, well, what if I do this thing and this amazing thing happens and this even more amazing thing happens? So like what I would say is that a lot of the challenge right now is that he's in his head. What if we don't get along? What if we don't like each other? It's really more comfortable doing my thing and staying where I am because I know it. So it feels like that's a big part of what he's dealing with. And I suspect, given the question, that you're aware of that. Does he need some nudging? He does. However, you need to be careful in what the nudging looks like, because as I said, there's already a spiral that's going on that he's going through. And if you contribute to the spiral, then like that's it, or it takes a really, really long time. I almost, is that what we want to say? I'm almost seeing you focusing on other aspects of your life for a little while. So this isn't from a punitive point of view. It's almost coming from the perspective of, I want to give you some space to sort yourself out, to decide what it is that you want. And if you are wanting to connect with me, awesome, I'm here. But I'm also not going to like drag you to do it. And it feels like for both of you, that's actually something that ends up working well, because he then doesn't feel like he's being pulled along by his ear, and you don't feel like you're the one who's making things happen. It feels like you being steady and being okay are part of what makes it easier for him to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm ready. I can come." Um, he has a lot that he's needing to work through, um, and it feels like it's not simple. So one of the questions that I would ask from your perspective is, what is he actively doing to support himself in that, so that this isn't the this isn't the pattern of your relationship? Because what I'm seeing is that if it becomes the pattern of the relationship, that it gets really old really quickly for you, and resentment builds, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of hurt for him. And so it feels like from that perspective, it's possibly even more important that you aren't the one who's kind of giving him the pokes and the nudges, and that it's important that he's the one who's saying, yeah, I am ready, and I do want to get together with you, and I want to move forward with things. So I'd encourage you to focus on you. Show him that you're stable and steady and that you're not out to hurt him. But also, responsibility and onus is on him as well to make those changes. Let's take a look and see what's coming up. I feel like I'm pulling a card for you, and I'm going to pull a card for him as well. I'm going to start with the card that we pulled for him. Again, I'm shuffling the cards. I'm pulling these cards randomly. So he's showing me that he's got to climb, and he's aware of the path, and like he sees you at the end, and he does see like that there's an opening, that there's a clearing. So like, even though we're talking about him being in spiral, he knows the path that he needs to walk, and that things are clear, they're bright, they're there. So this isn't a matter of him not knowing. This feels like this is a matter of him moving forward, stepping in and taking those steps of actions. He knows what to do. It's laid out in front of him. So be aware of climbing down the stairs and pulling him back up. It's important that he walks this. And I mean, you can be up there, you can be cheering him on, but I'm not seeing you necessarily walking these steps with him. You're the tree up in the clearing, like you're the prize. Um, and this was your card. And again, like, the same cards are coming out this evening. I swear there are more than this in the deck. This is a desire to meet somebody on your level that you can connect with at a really rooted and grounded level, where we can have open conversations. And so I would encourage you to start opening these conversations with him, because that feels like that's important for you in partnership and in relationship. And this is part of that initial, like, quote unquote test, that getting to know you. Can we connect on this level? Can we connect on this level so much that you're willing to do this? Can we do that? Because you already know that I'm here, and you know that we have this at the grounding. Can you say, yes, I'm going to do that? That's what you're waiting for. Gloria, I'm so incredibly grateful that you hopped on and joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. And I'm sending romance angels your way too. And also lots of help and support to your partner, to this person that you're talking to and connecting with. Pardon me, that he has the resources that he needs to move forward and to find happiness. Because, yeah, that's what we all want. Awesome. Melissa, thanks for joining us. Okay, so Melissa's saying, I'm thinking of doing a specific ritual, for my twin flame, the Scorpio full moon. I think it's the right thing to do, but would like some insight around it. Ooh, I love that. Okay, let's see what's coming up for you, Melissa. What do we need to know about what's moving forward with this? Yeah, it feels like it's a really beautiful opening. It almost feels like there's a sense of, I know that you already have a ritual, so I don't want to interfere with that. But I feel like there's this opening, there's this creating space for, and literally it's almost like you're cutting through something and something's falling off, falling away, so that the energy of twin flame can start to come to the forefront, can emerge. And this almost feels like a stepping into as well. A big part of what I'm seeing is I'm seeing you being in a really grounded place, in a really confident place in who you are. It's interesting because there are little elements of what we just talked about with Gloria that are popping through for you too. So it feels like in this instance that you're kind of the one who's creating the stability and the ground in order for this connection to really open up and to come to the forefront. So that says to me that potentially we have some healing that's coming up, either within the twin flame connection, or healing that your twin flame is going through and able to be themselves and in this in a really present way. I'm also seeing something that's coming up with a mirror too, and I'm not sure how that's working in the ritual that you're focusing on. Let me see. I'm just wondering what kind of insight I can ask for on your behalf. It does feel really beautiful. It feels like, again, like there's this really amazing sense of opening. I want to be really clear in the intention that you're setting as you set the groundwork and the foundation for this ritual. So for example, I'm wanting to see, for the best and highest good for all, that this be a connection, where love is first and foremost, where healing is present, where there's the opportunity for love and growth and compassion. So it feels like it's important to really lay the groundwork and the foundation for what you're allowing to happen and to come to fruition within the spell, or pardon me, within the ritual. But it does feel really powerful. I'm wanting to talk about water, having water close by. It's interesting. I was just recently listening to Soul Retrieval by Sandra Ingerman. It's she practices shamanism and soul retrieval, and one of the things that she was talking about was the power of water, that in many shamanic practices, um, uh, challenging entity, so entity that isn't supposed to be with you, it can be released into water and then goes to where it needs to go. So I'm not sure if that's part of the healing component, or even if that's how water is coming to the forefront in the ritual that you're doing. But I am seeing mirrors and I am seeing water that's coming up in this ritual. It feels really beautiful, and those are kind of really the only cautions that I have coming up. So make sure you're calling on your helpers, your guides, and your support, and asking that whatever work that you do be in the best and highest good for all involved. Let's see what's coming up for you, Melissa, here. We have this really beautiful sunflower. And what I love is that everything is brilliant. It's coming to the forefront. And there's a sense of confidence. For me, the yellow really reminds me of the solar plexus chakra. And solar plexus to me is all about that sense of self and who you are and really stepping into the forefront. And it's interesting because that's also part of that groundedness that I saw coming up for you as you were inviting your twin flame to come in, was that you were in a place of comfort and confidence and awareness of who you are and awareness of who you're inviting into your life and the experiences that you're inviting in as well. So yes, a lot of confidence is coming here, but I also have a lot of optimism that comes up with this as well. Like we're looking up to the sky, we're being fed by the sun and being nurtured and nourished, and we're healthy. So I see this as a confirmation of the work that you're planning on doing, and especially keeping it in light, just in general. Melissa, I'm so incredibly grateful that you hopped on and joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Wonderful. Tatiana, hello, my friend. Okay, let me see. So we've got a lot that's here. I'm really quickly going to skim through it. Confused. So doing yard work this week with a local friend, and feeling trust, meeting family and neighbors, and it feels nice. Does he feel that too? Missing the other. He's so busy, I haven't been able to tell him about the visit yet. It feels like when he gets busy and pulls back, the other one shows up more. It's nice. But is it connection that I have to my higher self? Focus on that and let it unfold. I don't have to choose right now. Okay. I already left a mess. Okay. So, okay. Yes. Sorry, I didn't want to read it because it's a really out loud, because it is really long. But I have the gist of it. We have two people, and when one person isn't really present, then the other one shows up, and you're feeling confused. There's lots of back and forth with where is that energy. One of the sentences that you wrote is that you don't have to force it and you don't have to decide right now. And I feel like that's really important. It almost feels like as you've started to make choices and decisions and you're moving in a path and a direction, when that isn't being met at the same level, that you start to spin into spiral. You've made your choice and decision with your travel plans, and you had like backups that you had as well. Like if things don't happen, then I'll do this and I'll do this. So at this moment, what is being asked of you is to hold your own peace, hold your own ground, and to breathe. You're absolutely right. You don't need to make any cut and dry choices and decisions at this time. You don't need to choose between one and the other at this time. When you are grounded in and in peace with yourself, the choices will start to become really clear and really obvious. And so trying to second guess because the responses aren't coming in the timeline that you're expecting pulls you out of that sense of ground and peace and comfort. And the more that you are pulled out of that, the more difficult it is to make choices that are going to have an impact on potentially the rest of your life. So slow down and take your time. Enjoy the experiences that you're having and start asking universe for signs. So then again, this is also part of this slowing down. I'm asking for signs and confirmations of the choices that I'm making moving forward. But it feels like there's a lot of spinning and spiraling that's happening. Breathe. Let's pull a couple of cards for you. So I'm going to ask for what you need to know, what you need to know with regards to W, and what you need to know with regards to E. That's how we're doing it. So what you need to know, the footprints in the stand, like you have a path that you're walking. These are solitary footprints at the moment. You need to focus on you and your path. And regardless of what's happening for other people, you're focusing on you. What is it that you need? You haven't made any big choices or decisions that are going to impact the rest of your life. And the choices and decisions that you've made are ones that you can change your mind about. So we're focusing on you and your path and your direction. So when it comes to W, this is being held. This is being nurtured and nourished. This is some light in times that maybe feel a little bit dark, that are feeling a little bit challenging. This is light. And at its most basic, that is what W is offering to you. He's offering some light in times that are challenging. It can be more, it can be something that's nurtured and nourished. But right now, the face value is I'm offering some light. I'm offering some hope. I'm offering friendship. Um, this is so interesting. So this card again is talking about relationship and connection and being like on the same level and having root and having groundedness. And so all of these exist even when things aren't connecting in the time and in the way that you're expecting. So remember, you making a decision doesn't mean that he's also making a decision, because you know that he's got stuff that's happening and that's going on, but we still have this as foundation. So nothing has shifted and changed. The only thing that's changed is you've made your choice and decision, and it's kind of like, okay, but where's everybody else? How come they haven't made choice and decision yet? Just wait and focus on you, because that is the piece that you have control over. And over the next little while, if things aren't shifting with this person, then you can shift as well. But with the information that you have right now, you're in the right spot. So just keep breathing. You've got this, my friend. Tatiana, I'm so glad that you came on tonight. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, support, and lots of peace your way as well. Just keep breathing and enjoy the relationships and connections that are coming up for you right now. Awesome. Let me see. Oh, Heidi, hello. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. So Heidi's saying, I'm tired of being single. When will my partner arrive? Dun, 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 dun. There's a song that's coming in and I can't remember the lyrics to it. Don't do 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 do, and that's the song. I'm not even sure what it's saying, but I feel like we're building up to something. So it's almost like dun, 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 dun. We're in a low, and then we're building up dun, 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 and it feels really positive, and we're breaking into something. So what I'm going to say is, you've come down into a low with where everything is. Things are feeling challenging. They're feeling lonely. They're feeling, like you're ready. What universe is saying is, yeah, we've got pickups and things are coming and things are happening, but it's going to take us a little bit of time. What I find interesting was the way down was basically the same amount of time, the same amount of rhythm and beat as the way up. So what I would take a look at is how long have you been single? And from that last relationship is kind of the trajectory that we have coming up. Now, I know that we've got some flip-flop here because there can be different things that have been happening back and forth, and you've been down in this place for a while. So that actually doesn't really help that much. More what's coming through is the confirmation that there is relationship, partnership, and connection that is coming. But it feels like it's still taking some time. When I take a look, I know that there is a partner who's coming, and I feel like I can see him. But what he's showing me is that he's sorting out and figuring out his stuff too. I feel like he is single, but he hasn't completely disentangled himself from his previous partner. So this might be something that looks like, we're not together. We've been separated for some time now, but we're still living in the same house because it doesn't make sense for us to each have our own space. So like part of what's happening is there's timing on his point, and that he's not ready yet. So what are we doing? What are we doing for you to move through that? One, are we letting go of this person? maybe you haven't, I don't think that you've met him and connected with him yet. So it still feels like he's coming into your life. So I'm asking, is there somebody else that you're connecting with? And I see somebody who pops up, and he shows me that he's a friend. It feels like there could be a bit of flirtatious and romantic, like kind of chemistry between the two of you, but he's kind of listing off on his fingers why it isn't going to work out for you guys. It isn't going to work out because of this and this and this, and I'm not actually the person that she wants, so like it's not going to happen. But it feels like you really enjoy spending time with each other, and part of what I'm seeing with that is that that helps to build up where you are, and it helps to make it easier because that energy is there. Because in addition to missing having the partner, it feels like you're missing the energy of having a partner and what that looks and feels like. And this person is showing me that he kind of comes in and he kind of fills in a little bit of that. Like, we're still aware that we're looking for somebody else, that this isn't going anywhere, but we're enjoying having that level of companionship. So I do see somebody like that coming in, and he shows me he's coming in kind of in the next couple of months. Like, I'm seeing June, July, August. And he also, I don't know how accurate this is, but he just showed me like coming in on a motorcycle. So I'm not completely convinced that he's actually riding a motorcycle, but it feels like he's kind of showing me part of his personality and who he is, and that he also just kind of comes in from out of nowhere. Like, it feels like he just rips up, and there he is, and you guys have a lot of fun and you're exploring, but everybody's really clear that this isn't going to be more than what it is, and there are reasons, and he tells me that you would completely agree with the reasons too. So like, don't get caught up in this guy because he's not the one. There's somebody else who's coming, who feels like he's a better match, and that you feel like he's a better match as well. He's just not ready yet. Okay, we're just going to ask, what does Heidi need to know about love life? I think that's the best way to put it. What does Heidi need to know about love life? Here we go. Seriously. so we're reflecting, we're looking back at where we've been, at what we've learned, and I'm also seeing that we're lightening the pack too. So sometimes we're hauling a whole pile of stuff with us that we don't need to haul with us anymore. This is the time to stop, to reflect, to make sure that what you're stepping into in the future is not only what it is that you want to be, but that you're not hauling a whole pile of extra stuff. Like, as you can see, our guy here, he's got a backpack on his back, and we still have a lot of ground to cover. And if we've got stuff that we don't need anymore, it makes more sense to leave it and come back and pick it up, because we're not littering. But also, to not haul it with you. There's no point. So this is definitely a time of reflection, but we are feeling really positive and optimistic. Like, we've already come a really far distance. We're already on level with many of the things that we've been wanting to do. There's still more for us to explore and to experience, but we're taking that time to recognize who we are, where we are, and the things that are important to us. We're pulling one more card. And this is raindrops on a spider web. And this is showing me that everything is interwoven. And each of these little drops feel like they're opportunities, possibilities, synchronicities, they're experiences. And all of these things are interwoven. And I feel a lot of joy that comes up with recognizing the connections that are here, that none of these strands on their own hold or support anything, but it's not until we pull everything together that we actually have support and that things are building. And I feel like if we add it to this card, that all of these strands are all of the things that have brought us to this point. And so we can't just say that this strand was bad, or this strand was worthwhile, or this was the only thing that was worthwhile. We really need to embrace all of the things that have brought us to this point, because each of them are important in their own right, but also in the bigger overall whole of who you are, of the experiences that you've had and the things that you are doing moving forward. And that's true not only for you, but also for the partner who's coming into your life. And so again, like I go back to, he's not ready. He's got stuff that he's needing to figure out before he's able to be in a place where he can join you. And that all of that work that he is doing is equally important as the work that you are doing and have done. And that timing is a big part of what's coming up. So enjoy. Whoops. Hold on just a moment. We dropped about 5 cards there, and that's always user error. And that was enough to take me off track. So all I remember was that timing is significant and important. To enjoy the people who are showing up in your life, to allow yourself to have adventure and connection and fun, because that's part of what's helping to bring you to the next spot and the next place, even if it's not exactly what you want at this point. Heidi, I'm so incredibly grateful that you hopped on this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of romance angels too, because I know you're ready. Awesome. Jenna, hello. It's so good to see you. I would love some guidance on where spirit is wanting me to put my energy into my business. Where should I be focusing and how do I grow it? Any guidance on manifesting a space for my business would be appreciated. Yes. Yeah, space for your business actually feels like that's part of the next step and part of the growth that's coming. So I'm actually wanting to talk about the space that's coming up for you, and I'm wanting to take a look at something that feels like it's collective based, mostly because I'm seeing you having a couple of days a week where you're there, but it feels like there are shows and or events that you're doing, possibly on a smaller scale, but you're doing that. And I'm also seeing gatherings and circles, and that's part of the reason that I'm seeing collective space, because gatherings and circles feels like that's a big part of the next step. And I'm seeing you doing that in your own space or your own shared space. So I'm wanting to keep an eye out for a space like that. The other thing that's popping up for me is I don't know that you're sharing space with another reader. I suspect that you're in a space where there are other people who are practicing different things. So maybe you've got massage, maybe you've got somebody who's doing Reiki, maybe you've got somebody who's doing counseling. And it feels like there are several rooms, and I've got this bigger communal space that can I don't know exactly how it's figured out. I don't know if you pay like a rental fee for it, or if you're just able to book a certain number of hours every month. I don't know, but I do know that it's available to you. So it feels like we've got this really beautiful space, and then offsetting it, we've got about 3 different office spaces. It feels like there's a reception type area, but I don't think that there's a reception person who's there. It feels like it's just kind of a sitting area with like a sign that says, please come and take a seat, and your person will be out with you when they're ready. It does feel like there are other people there, and that there's activity that's flowing and happening, and it feels good. It feels collaborative, but everybody kind of doing their own thing. I don't think that this is something that you are creating and setting up. This feels like this is something that you find. So start kind of putting some feelers out there, start checking on Facebook and Marketplace and other places where listings like this may be posted. If you have some sort of spiritual community hub, it feels like that's coming to the forefront. Part of what I'm seeing for you with your business is you're pulling things in and you are grounding it. We're no longer in a place where we're reaching for this and we're reaching for that, and we're reaching for things. It feels like you're coming into a place and a point, and it's like, hey, like I'm here, I'm ready to do the work. This is where I am. Bring them to me. And so it feels like that's a really big shift. Now, that doesn't mean to say that your business is going to flounder until you find space. I'm seeing it being kind of a little bit of both things. One, being aware that part of the next step is being in a grounded space where you're able to do your work. And also that we're still needing support in order to come to that point in place, so that you're still continuing to bring clients in, and you're continuing to work with people so that you can continue to find that point and that place. Um, I know, I know Jenna really well. And so I'm wanting to talk to you about your universal contract of service, and that it needs to be updated, my friend, to include a space where you can work. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the universal contract of service, this was something I was introduced to by my teacher when I first started doing the work that I do. And it can be adapted for many different people. And within the universal contract of service, I've included things. Basically, I've said, hey, universe, I'm happy to do the work that I do, but these are the things that I need. And so some of those things are things like when I do work, I need to be protected. I don't want to take on other people's stuff that doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve them. There's no point. So I don't want to hold it. Other aspects are, in order to be able to do this work, I need to be paid for it so that I can pay my bills and take the time to be here for people, and also to continue with my education and continuing to better myself so I can show up in better ways for my clients. So what I'm talking about for you, Jenna, is when going in and editing your universal contract of service and saying, hey guys, I really need a dedicated space where I can do my work. And in that, it needs to be a space where I'm able to easily ground, where I don't have to work through a whole pile of energetic crap, where the space that I'm working, there are other people who are of similar mindset to me. We don't have to practice the same thing. And in fact, it probably works out well if you don't, but that we need to meet each other as humans and be respectful of each other and of the space that we work in, of the energy that we're bringing into the space, all of those things. So asking for that, asking for it to be in a place and a location where people are easily able to connect with you, and an amount of clients that allows you to not only support the space, but also to support yourself in your own growth as well. So I'm seeing you updating your universal contract of service and asking for that additional help and support, so you have the resources that you need to continue to help people. And that's always the foundation of all of it, is going back to why you do what you do. And you do what you do to help and support people as they're going through and healing, and while at the same time being able to live your life in as healthy a way as you possibly can, supporting your own growth and healing. So go back to the basics of why you're doing what you're doing. Go back to the basics of why you started and the passion, and make sure that you're still in alignment with that. And, like, as you do something, when you do something for any length of time, you start to see the challenges in the industry that you work in. You kind of see the man behind the curtain that isn't obvious when you're on the outside looking in. So it feels like that's all part of what you're doing, is you're coming into being able to ground in the work that you're doing, while also acknowledging all of the things that you've been through, all of the things that you've learned, and being able to assimilate and process and to move forward through them. And then getting back to the core of what you do and calling it in. So there's a lot of transformation that's going on for you that I'm really excited about, but it is coming. Let me just double check that I've answered. Where should I be focusing and how do I grow it? It's interesting because I don't think that you were asking for what I gave you, but that is the message, because I feel like you were asking more about, what kinds of services do I offer and how do I grow? And that's not what the focus is on. It doesn't matter what services you're offering, because whatever you offer is going to be amazing. The more important thing is that you're getting back to the basics of why and what you're doing, and things flow from there. Okay, Miss Jenna, this is your card. Oh, you're planting the seeds. That's what you're doing. You're planting the seeds right now. So all of the messages that were coming up around grounding are absolutely accurate. And one of the things that I love about this, I'm very much not a gardener, and I happen to know that Jenna is a fabulous gardener. So I hope that you will get this. So what I see with this is I see we've got a whole pile of seeds that are going into the ground that are clumping on top of each other. But that's okay because we've got lots of seeds to plant. So I see the seeds as being the ideas of the things that you can do. As these start to mature and grow, you'll be able to thin them out and focus on leaving the ones that are strongest. So right now, you're kind of coming into a bit of a weeding part. Mostly because you've planted a lot of seeds, you've tried different things, you've been able to see how they work, and you have an idea of what works for you and maybe what doesn't work for you. So we get to focus now on thinning out the things that haven't worked the way that you've set them up. Maybe in the future, in other circumstances, it will work better for you. But right now, we have enough knowledge to know what isn't working. And we're getting back to the basics and we're going to plant those seeds. So there is lots of option. There's like the bounty is here. The seeds just need to be nurtured and nourished. So focus on what's most important. I'm feeling one more card for you. Hold on, it's this one here. Ooh. This is also another path card. And this was actually a photo I took at Cathedral Grove. And it is path that is moving forward. And things are just coming up around the bend. So you know enough to know the next steps that are coming up. And then we've got some surprises coming around the bend. They're not bad surprises. You're on the path. Everything is super stable and supportive. But, you know, you don't need to know what the final destination is in order to keep walking. So focus on the next couple of steps and trust that where you need to go is going to appear. Jenna, I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of angels to help with the manifestations on the work that you're doing. You've got this. Tracy, hello. Thanks for joining us. Tracy's asking, what do I need to know about the direction of my job? Oh, I've had this song before. It's really interesting because the song lyrics that are popping up for me when I ask your question are, should I stay or should I go now? I'll sing it for you so you know the song I'm talking about. It's kind of like, should I stay or should I go now? That's the song. And I'm finding that interesting because I feel you being pretty comfortable in staying where you are. So it doesn't feel like it's so much a question of should you stay or should you go. It feels like we're more waiting for something to shift, to change, to happen with where we are right now. And so I'm asking about where the shifts are coming, and everything feels like it's really tight. Like what I'm seeing are gears that are all just kind of like gummed up, and we need to lubricate them in order to get things moving. Because right now everything feels like it's kind of at a stop, and like you're ready for shift and change. When I ask about what's coming with that, oh, then they just showed me something that feels like it's a surprise that came from out of nowhere. So we've got our gears that are feeling really stuck. And what I was going to say was it feels like we're in kind of a holding pattern for the next 3, 4, 5 months. So we're saying we're basically May. So May, June, so July, August, September. So it feels like things are pretty gummed up until we get through, I'm going to say at least part of the summer. It doesn't feel like things are moving and shifting until that point. And then as I was receiving that message, they showed me that, boom, we've got a little bit of a surprise that's coming up, that's literally coming from out of nowhere. So I'm asking where that's coming through. And I'm flip-flopping. It does feel like there's something that's connected to your current position. And then I feel like I've got something completely out of left field that feels like it's coming up from outside of the situation, the circumstances that you're currently working in right now. It feels like it's really fun to take that thing that's come from out of left field and just like play with the idea of what it is. Oh, that would be kind of interesting. It feels like it's a really good thought exercise. And it also feels like it kind of boosts you up and builds you up, and it gives you kind of a little bit of excitement. It's kind of like being at the grocery store and flirting with somebody and getting just like a nice little, that felt really good. And then going home and you're back in like your regular day-to-day life that is maybe slightly less exciting than that little flirtation that you had. That's kind of what this potential job opportunity feels like. It's like, yeah, that's something that's fun to think about, but I don't think it's for me. And in the meantime, things start to move with where you are. So what do we need to know about the direction of my job? You need to know that there are some shifts and changes that are coming. It's going to take a little bit of time. I do see you staying either in the type of work position that you're in, so with the company structure that you're in, or within the field that you're in. As I said, there is another option and opportunity that comes to you. I'm not feeling you taking it, but I do definitely want to encourage you to explore it. And I mean, you could say, hey, Erin, you're totally wrong. I'm totally going to go and do that thing because that feels really great. So do keep an eye out for that. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I'm not 100% sure that you're going to agree to it, but it feels like it would be really interesting and really stimulating and takes you outside of your comfort zone, which could be just the right thing. But if you're staying on the same general track that you're on right now, there are opportunities that are coming up. It feels like shifts and changes are happening kind of July, August, September, and things start to move after that. I don't know why things are stalled where they are, but for some reason they just can't move. And literally it's like grinding in order to get things moving, and something needs to come in from outside of you. So it's not something that you have an impact on. And then things start to move and everything feels like it starts to move well. It feels like there's progression that happens on the other side of this. It feels like there's challenge, and I don't mean that in, oh God, that's so hard. But I mean like in a challenge in a stimulating kind of way. So yeah, as we start to move into July, August, September is when things start to open up. And then it feels like that's starting to come to fruition September, October, possibly into November. So there are changes that are coming. It's just not right away. Let me see. What do we have coming up for you? So weird. Okay, so we have these rocks that again are very still, but if you look closely enough, we do have water that's moving, that's flowing, and that does feel really positive. We're not talking about tidal waves. Things aren't like moving and shifting and changing rapidly, but there is still movement that's here. So there is a lot of stability, support. Things have been the way that they are for some time, and that's possibly part of the reason that it's going to take some time for those shifts and changes to actually start happening and coming to fruition. But there is movement that's happening that's just kind of difficult to see at this moment. So know that things are shifting and that they are changing. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But I am hearing that it's worth it and it's worthwhile to wait. Again, explore the other option and opportunity that comes up because it feels really interesting. Like it feels like it's really tempting. And if it's something that you want to do, I see that there's lots of support for you. However, I also see that where you are is going to provide not only the stability and the support that feels comfortable, but it's going to provide positive challenge in the future, kind of, 6-ish months out. Tracy, I'm really grateful that you hopped on and joined us this evening. Thank you so much. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and support your way. Chrissy, hello. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us this evening. Just wondering which vehicle feels better for me, a 2023 hybrid Hyundai Santa Fe or hybrid Tucson. Starting to look. Okay. Oh, and love the green. That's awesome. Thanks, Chrissy. Okay, let's take a look and see. So are we looking at the hybrid Tucson or the hybrid Santa Fe? Santa Fe is the one that's calling for me. I'm really wanting to explore that one for you. I'm not sure which one is bigger, but the thing that's coming up for me between the two of them is the space. I'm not sure if you're wanting the smaller one or the bigger one, but they're showing me that that's really the big difference that it comes down to. Everything else feels like it's basically the same. So I'm seeing whichever vehicle is going to be whichever vehicle is going to make the most sense with how you use the space in your vehicle. Like if you're planning on camping or road tripping or hauling a pile of stuff, then it feels like the one that has the most interior space, depending on how you're able to configure everything, because it feels like you've got seats that possibly fold down. It does feel like that one is going to be slightly more costly to run. And I wonder if those are kind of the two things. We're looking at cost over space. Space feels like it's the big thing, and it's the one that's holding you. And so I keep going back to the Santa Fe. I'm not sure which one is bigger, but I'm really wanting to encourage you to take another look at the Santa Fe and consider it. Okay, so we're going to really quickly pull a card for each. So this is for the Santa Fe, and this one is for the Tucson. So the Santa Fe, we definitely have option, possibility. It's kind of like the light in the darkness and the challenge. We're kind of holding it to support it. So we're feeling okay with that one. The Tucson is the one that has opportunity, where you're able to plant seeds, you're able to build, you're able to grow, which is kind of making me wonder if the Tucson is actually the one that's bigger, because it feels like the bigger one is what your heart is wanting, but you're maybe having a hard time justifying it. So both of them are really good choices. I'm hearing the Santa Fe, but it feels like for you, the one that has the most opportunity is actually the Tucson. So I don't know that that really helped much. But given the cards that came up, I would look at the Tucson, because that feels like that's the one that feels like it gives you the most opportunity. Awesome. Chrissy, I'm so grateful that you joined us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Okay, Jazzy Bella, I think that you're going to be our last question for this evening. What's coming in for love? Past, new, both? Okay, so I'm gonna call you Jazzy. I hope that's okay. What do we have coming in for love? I feel a lot of complexity that's coming in. Everything feels like it's kind of coming in waves. And a part of what I'm seeing is I'm wanting to clear the slate, because everything feels like it's kind of confusing. And if I try to look at everything all at once, nothing is really clear and straightforward, and it doesn't come to the forefront. So what I'm doing, and I'm wanting to encourage you to do, is clear the slate. So we're not looking for past loves. We're not looking for new loves. We're just kind of saying, let's clear it out and let's have a time and a moment to just be. As we come into this space, I feel like you're creating a stage for whatever or whoever needs to come in comes in. So it's almost like in questioning and opening where this person is coming from, we're almost like going past the point of, well, we want to create space and we want to make sure that there's room for this person to come in. And so that's what I'm seeing. uh what do we have coming up around this person? Oh, I see, there are many people that are coming in. I'm almost wondering if you are would be open to some form of like open relationship or polyamory, because that's part of what I'm seeing coming up. I'm seeing lots of opportunities and lots of people that are coming in, but it feels like there's kind of a little bit of a flow that's coming with it. So if that's not what you're wanting, then I want to encourage you to like refine and focus and fine tune what it is you're looking for. Because right now, the net is really big, it's really broad, and it's bringing lots of different people, lots of different options and opportunities in. If that's part of what you're experiencing, and or if the options and opportunities, that's so terrible. If the potential partners who are coming in are like, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that about this person. I'm not calling the people that. Um, then again, it's time to fine tune and to hone who it is that you're looking for. And so I'm wanting to create. Oh, we've got a card falling out for you. I'm wanting to create a bit of clarity around what type of relationship you're looking for, because again, like the net feels like it's really big, so you're catching a lot, which means you're throwing back a lot. And it's difficult to deliver what you're looking for without that sense of clarity. So close it down and focus on who you're most wanting to connect with. And that can be true even in an open and or polyamorous situation as well. That you can be open to multiple different partners and types of partners and still fine tune who you're connecting with. What do we have? What was your specific question? What's coming in for love? What's coming in for love is a lot of people. Um, that's what's coming in, and I'm seeing someone coming in who is feeling more steady, stable, and consistent. And my heart, as soon as I say that, immediately feels like it's grounded. It feels like it's taken care of. And it feels like we're able to build and grow. Again, either in something that's monogamous or in something that's more open. What else do we have coming up with this person? If this is somebody old, it feels like this is somebody that you didn't have a specific relationship or partnership with. This is maybe somebody where the timing never worked. You were in relationship, then they were in relationship, and it just kind of never worked out. But maybe there was always some interest in flirtation. If it's somebody who's old who's coming in, that's the kind of energy, and it feels like we're going into past. So we're not talking the last couple of years. We're talking like 15 years. 20 years. So it's definitely something where there's a lot of time that's passed and they feel like they kind of pop in almost from out of nowhere. And so from that perspective, it feels like this person is new because you don't really know them. Like you've got a little bit of shared foundation, but you don't really know them. On the flip side, this could also be somebody new, but feels like somebody that you've known for a long time just because you do connect so well. So I'm having a really hard time picking up on who this person is. So again, I want to encourage you to really fine tune who you're looking for and the type of relationship that you're wanting to invite in. While I was talking, I was shuffling and there was a card that fell out for you. That was the card I thought it was. So this is a symbol that has water on it that's got water all over the place. So like there's lots of vibration, there's lots that's going on, and everything is kind of scattered and all over the place. And that makes sense to the energy that I had coming up around partnership and relationship and connection. Right now, everything is kind of going all over the place and it's not allowing us to focus and to fine tune and to harness in what it is that we're needing. And there's always room for this. It's just not always the right timing for it. I'm feeling you coming out of this and moving into something that's feeling less chaotic and destructive and moving into something that feels more comforting, more gentle, more simple, more like home, more ready to breathe, to hold, to relax. So there's definitely a shift that's coming. When I ask about timeline, I'm not getting anything really straightforward. It feels like we have at least several months before things really kind of start to calm down. So as you're looking at dating and connecting with new people in your life, it feels like you're approaching it with awareness of how you're doing it and who you're inviting in. And it could be that you find that there are people who in the past you would have said, sure, come on in, that you're like, maybe I think I already know you or a version of you. And I don't think that you are who I'm looking for overall. And so it feels like you're fine tuning and honing and selecting more selectively. Jazzy Bella, I'm so incredibly grateful that you hopped on and joined us this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, support, and romance angels your way to help to usher in the relationships that you are ready for and that you're looking for, and ones that honor you and your energy, who you are and where you are. My friends, I am so incredibly grateful that you joined me this evening. It was such a pleasure to be back with you. I appreciate your openness and your excitement to allow me to play with this new card, these new cards, and this new creation. It's truly a blessing, and I'm so grateful. Really quickly, as I said, we've brought Psychic Playgroup back. The next Psychic Playgroup is not today. It's next Wednesday, May the 6th, and it's here at my studio on the beach in Union Bay. It's 6:30 to 8:30. I do still have a couple of spots available. You can head over to my website, heavenlymessenger.com, and it's in the classes and the class registration component. If you're wanting to explore the Journey to Intuition card deck, I'm so excited. I'm going to be bringing them out, debuting them at the Intuitive Development Workshop. That's May 23rd and 24th. So just in a couple of weeks, we're going to play with these guys. And my plan is to introduce them to Psychic Playgroup after that. So there will be one more Psychic Playgroup that's planned. And then keep an eye out, because I've got a bigger program that will be coming up. Again, I'm not sure if it's going to be September or sometime in the new year, but it is coming, and we're going to do it, and it's going to be awesome. Also, I've got Reiki classes coming up. I've got a level 1 class coming up this weekend that is open. So if you've been thinking, hey, Reiki sounds like a really great idea, now is the time if you want to do it with me. With all of the intuitive development stuff that's coming up, I know that there won't be any Reiki classes in the fall for sure. And depending on what's happening with intuitive development classes, there may not be Reiki classes until the fall of next year. So level 1 is this coming weekend. Level 2 is the first weekend in June. And I've got a level 3 booked for August. So if you're looking to do some Reiki, now is the time to do it. Really quickly, we can also do readings, your own personal reading. Hop over onto my website, heavenlymessenger.com, and you'll see it with the booking with Erin spot. That's where you go. My friends, thank you again for joining me. I know we won't be back next week because I'm in the middle of classes and Psychic Playgroup, but my plan is to be back the following week. So keep an eye out on Facebook, on YouTube. I'll be setting up the email newsletter again, so it will all come together. Hope you have a really wonderful rest of your evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, support, and gratitude to each and every one of you. Take care, my friends. Okay, this is going to take me a minute to get the video up. Hold on. There we go.